What was your I'm dating slash married to a idiot moment? Girl I was dating was making nachos and shredding cheese. She cuts herself and blood gets on the cheese and the shredder. As she gets a band-aid. I pick up the cheese and as I am throwing it away. She freaks out as now I may have AIDS. Like what? She is hard freaking out that I just got exposed to AIDS and I needed to get medical attention. After talking, it turns out she thought AIDS was everywhere. Like any blood outside the body could just magically get it. Her stupidity was a relief that night. She thinks that north is always uphill. So prefers to walk south. We served in the US Peace Corps together in Uganda. One day, it was really sunny out, like we lived within 50 miles of the equator. Sunny, she says. The moon is going to be really bright tonight. I asked what she meant. And she said since it's so sunny. The moon is absorbing all the light and will illuminate brighter when it's dark. We argued about this and ended up talking to her mother on the phone. She confirmed her daughter's hypothesis. This one is a bit obscure, but when you go to a hotel to check in, you tell them your full name or at least your last name so they can look you up. The guy I was dating at the time and I had booked a hotel somewhere and we got there. They asked his name, he only gave them his first name, which is generic. What's your full name? Again gives them just his first name. Sir, we need your full name to look you up. Yeah, but the reservation is under my name, first name here. I had to intervene and tell him they needed his last name because there could be many guests by his first name. I was so shocked this was not common sense to him. My ex thought wind turbines spun because they were powered by electricity. She has since got a degree and I don't have one, so I'm not sure what that makes me. My partner was grunting and groaning at the bin. He said we need new bin bags. These ones you've bought don't bloody fit. Went over to see what was going on and he had a roll of small black dog poo bags in his hand with one unfurled, trying to work out why it wouldn't fit in the bin. There were bin bags. He just picked up the wrong roll and instead of realizing, tried to get a dog poo bag in a bin 50 times bigger. My now ex-husband legitimately thought that having a hysterectomy meant that your was removed. I learned this when he asked me how women who had a hysterectomy were able to. Further discussion led to the realization that he thought that a hysterectomy resulted in a nice smooth Barbie-like bump down there. He thought potatoes never go bad because his mom always kept a bag in the pantry. I asked him if they ate a lot of potatoes and he said yes. They have a large family with 6 kids and it still didn't click. Love my wife. But South Dakota is not north of North Dakota. My wife went to the store to get cilantro for our tacos. She came home with parsley. Easy mistake, they look similar if you don't look closely enough. I told her she bought parsley. She was convinced it was cilantro. I had her taste it. I showed her the tag on the bundle that said parsley. She reluctantly went back to the store to get cilantro. She came home with another bundle of parsley. I love this woman. But this moment I was questioning everything about her problem-solving skills. The good news is, she has never brought home parsley again. My husband was feeling unwell and began Googling his symptoms. After a while of silence, he suddenly turns to me in a panic and says, I think I have preeclampsia. I dated a guy in college who visited me in my rural hometown and asked what the animals in the neighbor's field were. I said cows in a you must be me level of disbelief. He proceeded to tell me they can't be cows because cows are black and white and these animals were all brown. I had to pull up Google to prove to him that brown cows existed. I could maybe understand if he'd been from a city, but he told me he was from a rural suburb. Not a city, so I guess he was just an idiot. My boyfriend refused to eat basil I had bought from the grocery store because it was a full plant. I was keeping it outside and he insisted that he would not eat dirty food. I asked where he thought farmers kept produce and he said that they has special areas for food to grow that was sterilized, but my plant was not food grade. I just looked at him with a dumbfounded look. I didn't know how to respond. Having a discussion with my wife about not using certain Christmas tree decorations because they were glass and we had small kids. Her, they're not glass. Me, they are though. Her, no they're not. See? Proceeds to drop one straight onto the hardwood floor. Smash. Me. Her. Me, with deadest straight face I have ever managed in my life, I'll get the broom. And that is why we are still married. While we were moving, my ex-wife asked me who we needed to contact to change our email address, edit THX for the responses and upvotes. Promise this isn't a bad attempt at a joke. This really happened when we moved to a new house in the same region of our state. We both had been using Hotmail at the time, which made this funnier, to me at least. Ex-wife complained Apple Pay wouldn't work /link or whatever. I suggested she contact Apple support. Or go down to the Apple store. Kept refusing to go to the store. Saying she'd call customer support and go from there. One day while at work, she texts me asking where to get iTunes gift cards. Already a red flag. Why do you need those? I ask. She stated to me that Apple support is requesting the codes so they can verify funds. I told her it's a bad idea. It's a scam. And to just go to the Apple store. An argument broke out. And nothing was discussed further. I get home that night and notice eight $100 iTunes gift card holders in the kitchen. I ask her if she sent the codes to anyone, in which another argument broke out. She said she posted in an Apple support thread and an anonymous user replied to her telling her to call this number. Obviously unaffiliated with Apple. Some say her Apple Pay still doesn't connect to this day. My husband thought people whistled when they set off fireworks. He didn't realize the fireworks themselves whistles. Though that was one of his more harmless stupidities. We were planning a trip. And I asked my partner to book the flights. Weeks later, I asked for the details. And they said, "Oh, I thought we could just buy tickets at the airport on the day we leave." Apparently, they thought airports were like bus stops. We ended up paying so much for last-minute tickets. I half expected a butler on the plane to greet us with caviar and a mortgage application. Lesson learned: trust. But always verify. I bought fresh broccoli and my husband asked why I got such one huge broccoli and not the normal smaller ones. He thought broccoli naturally comes in bite-sized florets. When he thought aggravated assault wasn't that bad because he thought it meant the other person aggravated you to the point you assaulted. Woman facepalming. On a camping trip. She was worried about parking the car on the grass because she thought the grass was going to grow. Puncturing and flattening the tires. There was this girl that kept faxing the same document over and over. Eventually the recipient called to beg her to stop. But it keeps failing, she said, the document keeps coming back out. When he spent an hour arguing cows are from England and bulls are from Spain. Or when he told me he is British because he had mixed Egyptian and Irish heritage and I was English because I don't. Oh no, wait. When the dentist handed him that vacuum thing to spit into and he thought it was an oxygen mask and got it stuck to his face. Ha ha. Memories. Girl I dated in college broke my laptop because she kept trying to get a USB drive in. Instead of, flipping it, she just pushed harder and harder until it broke my port and motherboard. A girl I was trying to date told me that Spain is part of Latin America. And when I informed her that it is in Europe, she doubled down by saying she was a Latin American studies student and that I was wrong. He was making noodles and put in the seasoning packet but didn't mix it in. He then complained that the noodle brand was rubbish because the noodles only had flavor on one part. Woman face palming light skin tone. My husband went in Dollar General for toilet paper. We had maybe $50 to last the week. This man came back with $40 of mango juice because it was on sale and no toilet paper. I drank the juice but I was awfully salty about it. My wife was commenting on a man who we knew dated a lot of women. One day we saw him with his kid. She said, "I bet he doesn't even know who the mother is." We were playing a video game and he said, "Let's go those ogres over there." I was like,